So hello everybody, we have here the famous Joe Tegtmeyera.
How you doing, everybody?
So he was so kind that made us a little tour, virtual tour, and a little bit tour here around where we are Hyperloop Plaza. Is that right?
Correct.
And it's only like 6 months built.
It's been in operation for about 6 months. It was built over the last year or so, and you know, something I learned just very recently is this is a Boring Company site. The employees are Boring Company. The entire thing is for the Boring Company, but also SpaceX has a Starlink facility, so it's open to the SpaceX employees, and more importantly, it's open to the entire community.
Yeah, and that's very nice from Boring Company. Yeah. And then we discussed the Tesla factory, right, Austin, as well as drilling the boring tunnel in Gigafactory Austin. To not you know, waste time, we have a lot to cover, so stay tuned. And let's go to it.
We're just starting here. This is the Boring Company tunneling site at Giga Texas. And what we're seeing here is, this is something called the belt cassette. You can see all the black belts. They kind of work their way through here, and then they go into this roll. And then there's a conveyor that goes this way underneath this kind of this white, I don't know, like a beam. And then you have the conveyor system underneath it. And then it turns at 90 degrees and it comes into this. This is the spoils bin. You can see a lot of the dirt that comes from the tunneling.
And, oh, okay, so this is the tunneling.
Right,
okay.
so the tunnel's over here, off the screen. The dirt comes on the conveyor and it turns 90 degrees and it's put into here. And then this excavator picks it up and puts it into a truck, and then it's taken away.
When they make the bricks out of it?
I actually asked the Boring Company guys that too, is right now, they're not making the bricks because, one thing, there's no use for the bricks at Giga Texas. And, you know, so the main point is they want to just get the tunneling done, and then they're using all of the dirt around Giga Texas, so they're putting it in various places. These are all up in the upper left. These are all of the tunnel segments. That's what are ready
to be deployed. Yes.
Correct. And then sort of behind me, looking at the picture along here, there's a bunch more. And I don't know the total number of tunnel segments for the first tunnel because I don't know the full length of the tunnel, but I asked them if I had guessed about 1,200 of them, and they thought that was low. So it's gonna be more than 1,200 for one tunnel.
And what's the rough length of the tunnel?
I don't know. If I knew, I could tell you for sure.
Roughly?
And they didn't give me that information. But they did say that the tunnel segments, the width of them is approximately 5 feet. So that's about what, 1.5 meters, something like that, roughly.
Yes.
So one ring takes, I think they said 5 segments, and it's 1.5 meters long. So you can imagine how many of that would be, say if you had a 500-meter long tunnel, how many of those rings that you'd have to make. And each of the concrete segments, the tunnel segments themselves, and you can actually see a couple out here, but they have a gasket around the perimeter of it. So when they attach them and they make the ring, it seals it.
All right.
And then they're bolted together. They have like little eyelet places, and the bolts hold the ring. And the way that the system works is the tunnel boring machine, well, I'll get here a little bit, but there's something called a thrust ring, and it pushes against the thrust ring, and it goes about 1.5 meters or so, and then it installs the ring, and then it pushes against the new ring, and so every ring is now the next place for it to push against as it continues to go into the dirt.
And it is made from concrete?
Yes, and they make them right here. In fact, there's at the boring site here at Bastrop, Texas, is the batch plant, and they have all of the forms. And if we could get in a drone and just go up maybe, you know, I don't know, 15 meters or so, you could look over there and you could see there's a yard full of them, and they're making them for Giga Texas.
Is it only concrete, or is this also steel inside this?
It is reinforced. There's some sort of rebar reinforcement in there. Yeah. I don't know what the actual mix is for the concrete. I asked them if they could use the batch plant that's at Giga Texas, and they weren't sure. So I think that you know, they're just more comfortable doing it here right now. Let's see. So let's go to the next picture. Okay, so this is that belt cassette we were talking about. Mm-hmm. These are the segments for the tunnel. And now we're kind of looking across here. This ramp goes into the tunnel. And
so these are the electric trolleys? Or?
Yes, these are called the liner trucks.
Okay.
And there's actually, there's a couple of them here. They're all electric. They have wheels that are kind of bent out almost 45 degrees so they can go into the tunnel.
Okay.
And they place the concrete segments on it, and it drives them in and out. Now, the interesting thing on this is this item that they're picking up. This is one of the, what they call gantries. And there's about 6 or 8 of these gantries that line up and are attached to the end of the tunnel boring machine. And the tunnel boring machine is already into the ground by now. So what these do is they provide some structure. They have, they allow the electrical lines, the hydraulic lines. They have a bunch of other actuators. They're all mounted to it, so it gives it that rigidity. It also allows the conveyor system to go on top of that so the dirt can come out. And if you notice here, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. You can see how it's open, kind of a rectangle on the bottom. Mm-hmm. So it's rounded so it goes in the tunnel, but this opening is just big enough for the liner truck
to enter,
to come in and go underneath that. And you can see how the tires are angled.
Yeah.
So
basically he's not like going over rails, but he goes over
on
dirt,
the walls.
on the dirt.
Correct.
On the walls. Okay.
And that's actually one of the innovations that they've introduced with the boring company, is that they don't have to have rails. And in a regular tunnel, they call it like a train, and it goes on rails and it brings the segments in. Here, they got rid of that, and they have this liner truck that is electric, and it drives itself in.
And the truck is feeding the boring machine with the liners instantly, or just temporarily before the gantry can do it?
Two different things. The gantry holds the power lines and hydraulics and grout and other things, and it gives it a structure. It doesn't do anything with the tunnel segments. The liner truck brings the tunnel segments underneath this, driving on the, you know, the curve of the tunnel, and it gets to where the tunnel boring machine is. And then they will have, basically they have a robot that picks up each one, and then it places it. So
the car is constantly bringing new segments.
It goes in and then it comes back out.
Pick it up.
Correct.
Okay.
And you know, the speed of how fast it's drilling, so once they put a ring on, it starts drilling again, and it's going to take them a period of time. So it's not like instantly.
Yeah,
that's where Gary the snail comes in.
Yeah.
So there's a period of time, lots of minutes between when they need to come back out. So it just drives out, they load it back up, and it goes back in. But this gantry that they're lifting up here, this is one of the, here's another one here underneath the, I think there was one here. Maybe they had them all under tarps, and there's a couple other pieces here. So this is probably the middle section of what they're adding on. But putting all these gantries in is a milestone. It's a big.
So previously they were not doing like that.
No, they just had the tunnel boring machine. The tunnel boring machine has to go in far enough that they can put all the gantries in. So now that it's far enough, now they're installing the whole thing.
So how do they handle the hydraulics and electric before they install the gantry? Like, how does the machine work?
If you look at some of my previous videos, I show you, they have all the gantries lined up over here, so they're not part of that. And they have the wires going on the ground over this ramp down in, connecting to it. And it can only go so far, and when they get to that length, that's when they need to get the gantries. And the other thing is the beam that's holding up the conveyor, they had to take off this one other piece so that they could raise it up and have space to put the gantries in to install. And I think I have another picture showing that installation coming up. Here's that gantry a little bit higher up, and you can see how they're positioning it to go in here. So right there.
And this electric special truck is made by boring company or by Tesla?
By boring company.
Everything is like vertical integration 100% almost.
For the most part, yes.
Oh, wow.
Now they do use, in certain parts of the tunnel boring machine, they do use Tesla motors.
Oh.
So just like SpaceX uses Tesla motors for the rockets, they use Tesla motors for this as well.
Maybe also this car.
Probably.
And the boring machine is like wired or runs on battery?
It has power to it. It has all the cables. That's what the gantries do.
Wow.
You can see on this one here, there's a tube that's part of a ventilation system so they can put air in.
Okay.
And then you can't really see it on here, but there's these big banks of wires that run through it or around it, and that's how they get the power to the tunnel boring
I
machine.
think here is some cable or
Yeah,
top,
but that's not it. They're these really big kind of yellow cables. Yeah, like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
So that'll connect in and run through all of that. And then there's...
Probably requires a lot of energy, right, the machine?
I didn't ask them specifically how much it was, but, you know, but they had a generator with a truck, and that was enough for it to work.
Before.
Right, and an industrial generator, not a small one, but... this picture here at the bottom, you see this device here? This is called the thrust ring. And they built a big, heavy mount into the ground, and it had kind of these eyelets with these heavy metal devices put into the concrete. This attaches to that, and then you can see the segments. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. So the tunnel boring machine on the back of it has these pistons and feet, and it's pushing against the thrust ring initially to push the boring machine in. When it pushes it in a certain distance, then they have enough space to put a ring. So the pistons retract, they put the ring segment in, and then when the ring segment's in, the pistons go onto the ring segment and it pushes it a little bit more. And then when it gets enough distance, then the pistons retract, they put another ring segment, and then the pistons push against that. So it's constantly pushing against more and more of the tunnel. And when they get far enough in, and I think they may be close enough now, there's enough of the tunnel, the weight, and into the ground that they can take the thrust ring out. So I expect the thrust ring soon to be removed.
And do you know roughly how long it takes to make the one ring and then the other ring? Like, is it like minutes or is it hours? Or
I think they could probably do it in maybe like 30-ish minutes or so. But that would be if everything's running fine, on speed, they don't have any maintenance issues. For a while, because Giga Texas's tunnel is somewhat of a test for them, they weren't going as fast as they could. And I know a lot of viewers kept asking about that. They were saying, you know, I thought the Proof Rock 3 was supposed to beat Gary the Snail, go really fast. And although it can go faster than it is, they wanted to test everything. So that was at least what the boring company said to me. So
maybe the next tunnel will be faster again.
Yeah, I think that's the goal. This, by the way, this is the ducted fan unit, and it's kind of on this platform. This is what would connect to the tube to get the air to go into the tunnel.
Okay, yeah.
So there's that picture.
But in the future, when it will be completely autonomous, the air doesn't need to be there, basically, for the operation.
True. That's actually...
Oh, it's for the people. The air is for the people.
Yes. That's actually one of the ideas, that if they can make it fully autonomous and you get rid of people, then you can reduce a lot of complexity because you don't have to have the life support. Exactly. Kind of like a drone, you know, you don't have to have the pilot.
And
you don't have
like
to have
safety issues as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, so this is a different angle on it. They're hoisting in another part of a gantry. You know, the other part that we saw has already been in.
So this is the entrance.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So you have this ramp, you have this ramp, you have the thrust ring, you have the tunnel segments going in. That one large thing that we saw has already gone inside, and this is another piece. So this picture was taken later. And the people size give you an idea of the scale.
Oh my gosh.
So these are not really that small. But you can see the same thing here, the opening on the bottom, that allows the liner truck to come in underneath it with the tunnel segments. Let's go to the next picture. And here's a good shot. Again, that's from a different angle. You can see how it's being loaded into the ramp going inside the tunnel. And again, more of the people. And this gives you a good idea of at least the exposed part of the tunnel. and it goes, considerably more into the ground now.
So this is basically under the highway, right?
It is to a certain degree right now. I don't know exactly how far.
At least like the direction. Direction is. Yeah.
I think I might have a picture here that shows you where it's going to go.
Okay.
Well, we'll see if I have it on here.
So they go against each other?
No, it's just one.
Yeah. Okay.
And they have a system to navigate the tunnel.
It's laser or?
It's more like a gyroscope type thing, like a laser gyroscope. So you can't really use GPS too much, although they can put markers. Right. But it is something so that they can know that they're going in. And here's another interesting thing. I told you that, when there's a ring segment there, then the pistons go up and it pushes. Well, they can vary how much it pushes on one side or the other.
And
that allows it to
that's
steer.
the steering, basically.
Right.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay.
And it can steer quite a lot, right? Because I think in Vegas, when they made the Westgate or maybe the Encore tunnel, they said it was like very crooked. No,
Right.
not crooked, but
Curved.
yeah.
There's a couple of things that you have to think about with that. They can do it, vertically or horizontally.
Oh, yeah, for
The
sure.
vertically, you can only have so much pitch, and it's too steep for using vehicles. Maybe they scrape when they go in or out, or it's just too much. If you're going straight down, you don't want to drive on that. So they have to manage that within a reasonable amount. And then the same thing with curves. If it curves too fast, it's not good for trying to drive through it.
Yeah, then you can go fast.
Right. So they have limits of how much they will turn either way. But that's how they actually turn it and guide it.
That's cool.
And if they have underground water, because I see there is so many
Right.
water,
So that's good question. So how they solve that water?
Well,
The pumps.
Well, one of the things at least at Giga Texas, on the other side of the highway, next to where the tunnel is going to come through, is if you watched any of my videos over the last several years, there's a giant cistern with a dewatering system all put in. They built this huge thing. It took them like a year to do it.
Because of that?
Yes. Now we know why.
So they do that such a long time in advance.
Exactly.
Wow. It's like
all of these trailers, some of them are control trailers, some of them are like break rooms or meeting rooms, some of them are bathrooms, but one of these, I think is this one, is the control. So they have some people in there that control it.
Oh, they showed the picture recently,
Right.
The control center.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're trying to make the tunnel boring machine autonomous as much as possible, so that they don't have to have somebody necessarily driving it all the time.
Yeah, but there's still gonna be a control center with someone like overseeing stuff.
For right
even
now.
If it's no, but even if it's autonomous, there's gonna be someone.
Their
like,
goal is to not have that.
Oh, wow.
They want to reduce not having people, because
But they probably mean inside the tunnel. Right?
no,
at
because
all.
think
Not
about
even,
think about the future.
supervising.
Think about the future where they're going to go. So they want to make it so it's like on Mars.
Oh right, yeah.
So
you
that
can't remote control.
yeah. So and even if
And you have quite a lock
so if you try to do it from Earth, it's too long.
to
and it's-
control something on a Mars.
So those are their long-term goals that they're trying to work
So
their way
maybe
to.
shorter term is just no people in the tunnel, but someone overseeing.
Yeah,
and
they
maybe
called
later,
it.
no
I think it
people
was
ever.
it was in pit is what they called. No people in tunnel is like the term that they use. Something like that.
Oh, like a shortcut.
Yeah,
Like an acronym.
An acronym, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit out of order, but now the tunnel is just to the south of here, so we've come a little bit farther to the north.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So this whole area is the new outbound lot.
Yeah, but this is V3s. This is not V4s. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, a lot of these are reused from what they had earlier on.
Oh, okay.
And there's a over on this part out of the frame is a large material storage location, and they have some other what look like V4s chargers that are getting ready. But you can see how they're all being stacked up right now.
So this is from today?
Yes,
Okay.
just maybe an hour and a half ago. So this is the new end of line facility. This is where they come in from the north, they process, and then they'll come out the south, do their charging, and then there's a test track on this side. You can just see a little bit of it here.
This is the one with the possible water.
No, that's over
on
by
the cathode factory.
Yeah, that's probably about 2 kilometers that way from here.
Okay.
But they have this little test track there, the superchargers. This is where they do some of the, as the vehicles come in, they check them and make sure that it knows which slot it has to go to, which truck's going to pick them up.
Yeah, on the left side. And this main building is what?
It's called the end of line.
Ah,
and
okay.
it's
So
where
this is the final
they do
assembly?
the processing. It's not really assembly, but it's more of a
check.
testing out,
Okay.
calibrating
Yeah.
it, making sure everything is good to go. And like I said, the flow is from the north through here to the south.
Yeah, and then they drive through the track, I guess. Yeah.
Sometimes they do the track first. I'm not sure exactly what I don't know what their complete
okay.
process
They
is.
go directly from tunnel. They can make the.
Yeah, exactly. The tunnel is like over here, so it would just come out over here, and then they would be able to probably come up this way and enter.
And currently, how do they get to this part?
They currently drive, there's a road by Giga Texas that goes to the south, that goes under the South Bridge, and then it comes all the way over to this road, and then they go north of this road over to here. So
Is it just their road, or is it like a public road?
it's all theirs. It's all on their
Okay.
property. So everything on this side is Tesla property. Everything on the other side of the road is Tesla property. Just the road is not Tesla property.
But there is under the road is.
Yes, there's a bridge on the south end.
Yeah.
And that's how they go right now. Okay, here's a closer view of some of the Cybertrucks.
Did you count them?
No, it's just too much. There's probably maybe 100.
Maybe AI
150.
could do it.
Yeah, that's true.
There are people that watch my channel that they'll put in the comments, I just counted, there was 410. And I'm like, thank you. Appreciate it. But this is that new road that I was talking about. On the south end is what they call River Road. River Road connects to Farm to Market 973 that runs on the other side of the houses over here. And it goes under the road over to the south end of Giga Texas. All of River Road is Giga Texas's road. And then on the north up here is Tesla Road. And so this road connects River Road to Tesla Road.
Oh,
so
it's called Tesla Road?
the one of the north is called Tesla Road.
Yeah.
Kind of like in Giga Berlin, Tesla Strasse, but this is Tesla
I
Road.
didn't know.
Yeah.
It used to be called Harold Green Road, but about 2.5 years ago, it was officially changed. And this lot here is relatively new. It was an extension to the outbound lot, and they just recently paved it. They got the marks on it, but you can see the lights haven't even been installed yet.
Yeah. Okay.
And people ask, well, what about lighting at night? Well, they bring in the portables, see?
Yeah.
Which I have to watch out for when I'm flying the drone.
And they give out free flashlights too.
Exactly.
employees.
By the way, easy pick how you can recognize that this picture from Texas and not Giga Berlin, because
Yes,
Germans will
I
never do
know.
that.
Everybody
It will be
says
like
that,
it will be like a straight line.
Yeah, I have a lot of viewers that are a little bit, what is it, ADHD or whatever, and it bugs them to no end. They're like, can't they just park straight? I'm like, oh, well. What really makes them upset is you see how they're all facing this way? One will be facing the other way.
Ah, yeah.
The cars to be parked autonomously, maybe.
Yeah. Then it will be
Maybe,
solved. Yeah.
The auto park is pretty good. Then.
Okay, so this is the outbound lot again. We're from the south looking to the north.
Yeah.
And you can see that road going again. You can see that was the lot that had all of the Cybertrucks, and here's more of them. This is where the truck drivers, when they come in, they check to make sure that they're, who they are and where they need to go, and then the trucks come over and they pick them up. And you can see they're doing a lot of more work here. All of this is going to be extended this way. So this whole lot is going to get really, really large. And I suspect there's another section, which I have a picture of, that's going to be more of that. And I think all of this is in preparation for the next gen vehicle, because they're going to be making a lot of them. So they're going to need a lot of space.
Yeah. But here are already the lights implemented.
Yes, for at least part of it. You can see how this starts with A1,
Oh, right.
A2, 3, whatever. And if you go over here, because they haven't finished it, it starts at B13. So there's still, all of these still have to be put in. And then they'll probably have even more on the south end.
Oh, okay.
And this is a good picture because you can see Giga Texas, and you can see that road.
Ah, really? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the road that the boring tunnel is going underneath. And the boring tunnel is right over here on this picture.
Maybe when you know the distance between the two buildings, it's approximately the distance of the tunnel.
Not exactly, because the tunnel is going into the new part of the building, so it's going to go inside, and then it's also on this side of the tunnel.
Maybe the threshold, like the widest and the
Yeah, I haven't actually tried to measure. I know I have some Patreons that have attempted it, and I'll leave that to them. They use Google Earth and they're trying to figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
But in this part, they enlarged this building, no?
can they-
Yeah, here on the on the end, yes.
It goes down to about here on the picture.
This is actually one thing that changed from last year for sure. No, that
What's that?
last year when we were there, here it was not that that
the
part.
extension.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I will show you that here in a second.
And this tunnel will go in this new
Yes.
extension building, or it,
The new extension.
okay, so it will be directly.
I have some pictures I think I'll be able to show you. So anyway, you can see more of the work going on. A lot of this is trenching for electrical conduit because there's going to be lighting down here as well.
and maybe charging. No.
Yeah, there are more chargers over on this side, outside of the frame, on the staging yard, and they're assembling more of them. So I know there will be more. Let me go to the next picture. Okay, so different perspective. We were over there, now we're on this side. There has been a lot of Cybertrucks parked here until yesterday. And
okay.
now they're being moved over here, and I think they're being shipped off too. So relatively speaking, there's a lot less Cybertrucks than there were a couple days ago.
Oh, okay. So do you think that they are shipping them to different
they are.
stores?
They are.
Yeah. So each store will have at least one, I think.
Well, I think they're also just trying to get them to customers.
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure. Yeah.
So this is the end of line. It's the brand new. They start up here and then they drive through, and then the superchargers are on the back end. Couple interesting things about this. One, this is a cafeteria that they are in the finishing process of. So this will be where the employees can get food.
Only employees or
Employees, yeah.
Okay.
And then this station here with the water tank.
Oh, okay.
And you see it's got pressure washers. The
Wow.
reason why they had this is the exit point for the Cybertrucks out of the main factory, the original one is on the south end. So as they were building the extension, for a while they had a couple of paths out of the south end, but all of them required them going over mud because it's construction zone. So
dirty.
when they would drive all the way around and come over here, they were covered with mud. So they used this to spray off the tires and the bottom of the car before they went in here for processing.
Oh, yeah.
So this
Tunnel
is
will help it with that
yes,
as well.
this is definitely a temporary fix for right now.
Okay.
So there's that one. And then here's just another shot of this,
Yeah.
you know, and you can see the outbound lot up there.
Yeah.
This is that material storage yard I was telling you about. And up,
So this is the shipyard, basically logistic area with trucks.
no, this is more like building materials,
Oh,
containers for storing. They also have more trucks over here. This is part of it's the TKS modular paint system trailer, and then they had modular paint system parts over here, and they've been moving them in and installing them into the factory. The factory on the north side has the paint system, but they've been installing a new one down on the southeast side on the second floor of Body in White. And I think that's for the future vehicles. So,
okay.
so they have multiple paint systems now, but this is where they had most of the parts. The back over here is where they're assembling more superchargers, and they're also putting some of the steel here that's being used for the south end extension. So there's a lot going on. There's actually, it's hard to see here. I think I may have a closer in shot, but it's also where they have a lot of the ventilation ducts that are being used to put an expansion of a chilling unit on top of the roof of the main building, and the parts are over there. So let's go to the next picture. Okay, so there's a closer shot. So you can see, you know, some of the steel that's being used in the south. You can see that red and white kind of tint that we saw earlier. You can see over here, there's more superchargers being installed there, and there's actually a few more in here. These ducts are what's going on top of the roof on Body in White, where they're expanding that chiller system. This is the TKS that I was telling you about for the paint system, and just materials is what it's used.
Yeah.
And you see this big lot over here. It's kind of a triangle shape. The initial use was for contractor vehicles, but they've since made a new lot. And so all the contractors are over here, and they have shuttle bus that pick them up and take them to wherever they need to go. This one is being redone, and they've added conduits for lighting, and they're preparing it to be paved. And, you know, a lot of this part here is also being prepared for pavement. So it's possible this is either going to be for the warehouse on wheels, for trailers, for,
warehouse,
you know,
warehouse.
or it could be a continuation of outbound lot,
Mm-hmm.
either one. But yeah, and then over here, I think I have a better picture, but they're doing a lot of more earthwork on this section too, to get rid of the pond and finish up the grade. So I think they can expand that
Like
over
from
there.
from the overall area that the Tesla has purchased, what's your guess of the percentage of what they are now like occupying or
20%?
constructing? Oh wow,
Maybe 25%.
oh
They're
my,
not gonna fill the 100% of it with buildings, right? They want it to be like a park and stuff, right?
Some of it, yeah. Most of the park's going to be along the river.
Yeah, around the river.
And then they also bought some land on the east side, southeast side. It has a big pond or like a lake, and it's got almost an island. And I think they're going to probably do it over there. So that way you can walk across and do everything along the Colorado River. But that would be on the south and east sides of the whole factory. They have enough space if they really wanted to build several more Giga Texases with no problem.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, here's a better shot. So we were there, and now we've come over here, and you can see the earthwork that's going on. There's still a pond where the trees are, but they're preparing the grade here. They're actually lowering it, which is kind of strange, but this whole area is being developed, and they've been taking dirt out, but they may need some more dirt in. You can see the water detention ponds. This is part of the water management system.
Okay.
And
This
then
is Tesla built or previously?
all of this is Tesla built. The road, all of this.
Oh, okay.
Before, this was a sand and gravel mine. So all of this had like long linear hills and valleys because that's where the mining was.
Yeah.
So they've been filling all that back in. And it was also had a lot of trees in here too, because over time they just started rooting.
Yeah.
You can see downtown Austin over here.
Yeah.
And this is where the contractors are parking right now. So this whole thing is being, you know, prepared for something. And it had trenches in, you can see some of them for all of the electrical conduit. And then they're getting ready to put, and that's for the lights. And they're getting ready to put the water management pipes underneath it as well. And the outbound lot is over here. If we were to turn to the right, you would see all that. Okay, so now this is the warehouse on wheels, the west one. This is again the tunnel operation.
Oh, yeah.
And and you can see more of Giga Texas.
Yeah, so here is the entrance. Yeah, here's the entrance. Here are the concrete. Yeah, okay.
Right, and you can start seeing the expansion of the building now, how they're extending it.
Oh, wow.
It's being extended almost 120 meters, give or take.
Some company has buildings that are that long and they just expand it.
Right.
Oh
So
my
how
God.
long will be this building?
When it's done, it'll be almost 4,500 feet, which would be
1.5 kilometers or
something like that.
1.4?
Yeah, not quite 1 mile. So
Oh, okay.
So 1 mile would be
it will be 1.6.
something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. This, by the way, this is a good picture. You see the boring tunnel, and it's going through here underneath the road. You can see the dirt here that's cleared. So you can kind of see where the tunnel is going. Okay, and it's going to enter into the south end. But next to it, you can see these two temporary platforms, and there's a new opening. This was cut in, and this is where the Cybertrucks now exit the building. So this way, they don't have to go through all the mud on the south end. And internally to the building, like in almost the middle of the building on the south end, is where the Cybertrucks are finished. And so going out the south end was a natural thing because it's right there. But internally, they put a new roadway all the way over to here. So they drive them here, they exit here, they kind of go in a queue here until enough of the drivers are there. and then they drive them to the south around over to the outbound lot. So
maybe in the future there will be like a tunnel directly on the.
Well, it'll be right here.
That's this tunnel.
So they're
okay,
going to go. They'll come out of the south through the tunnel all the way over.
Yeah.
So this is all temporary,
it's
just
temporary,
while
yeah.
the south end, and you'll see why here in a second. So you get a pretty good. This is almost the length of the original building,
Oh my
and then you can see
gosh.
the extension.
No, you will see when we drive by it. It's like inimaginable.
So this is a good shot. That's that cut opening. Those are those two temporary platforms. You can see how they're queuing up the Cybertrucks. They drive right out here, and then they go over. And you can also see the building extension. And then this kind of a rubbish chute, they've enclosed it because the Cybertrucks are coming out here. So they want to make sure that nothing falls onto them.
If you see so many Cybertruck, it is any variation or they make still same looking Cybertruck?
They're pretty much all Foundation series right now, which means that they have all of the equipment, they all have white interiors, and they all are essentially the same with the exception that you can have the Cyber Beast or the all-wheel drive one. The Cyber Beast has, the three motors and it's faster.
Right.
But otherwise, they're pretty much all identical. Okay, so there's that. This is just a shot, but this red ramp, I showed when it was delivered and how it's been installed, and they actually, on the inside, they have like a conveyor system that attaches or comes up to the truck, and they unload, but this is a different kind of ramp. It's gravity, so when the trailer's up there, it's tilted down, so the stuff inside just rolls out.
It's nice.
And it goes onto the conveyor, and it goes on inside. So it's, I don't know if they're testing it or if they're going to add it on all of them, but it's kind of a unique solution.
Oh my gosh, they are like thinking on so many things in one.
Yeah.
Optimizing everything.
Optimizing, yeah, exactly, optimizing everything.
Okay, so this is good. We were over here. Now we've come over this way, and you can see the extension of the building. And the way it's going to work visually is you have these huge windows, and the entire south end is going to be all glass, with the exception of the very, very top. And then they'll have like a little concrete part on the top and then a little on the bottom. I don't know if they're going to put Tesla. Right now it doesn't say Tesla anywhere except for on the roof. So maybe
would that be just for aesthetics, or do they why glass? What do they need?
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But so imagine this entire wall all glass except for right about here, and you can see they have marks on the columns. Maybe you guys see the marks, the black dots.
Oh yeah.
So that's the line of the window. So the window is going to be here, then it's going to come an angle, and then it'll come up.
Right.
And then on the bottom one, I think it may go down.
So
Yes.
it will be like maybe like a continuation of the Cybertruck.
Similar to that.
silhouette. Yeah.
See how the windows go up like that?
They go down.
Yes, so I think it's going to be just about like that. The other thing is, if you look carefully, there's a trapezoidal open section right here in the floor. And you also have, this is called the perimeter grade beam, and it's open. And it's right in the middle of this side. I think this may be an entrance.
Yeah, that will be entrance.
So that's my guess. All of this is the windows. Each window is 10 meters tall. I think it's 3 meters wide. They weigh 12,000 pounds. So in kilograms, that would be what? 29,000 kilograms? Is that right? No, it's the other way around. What is it? From kilograms to
800
pounds.
kilograms or something like that.
800 pounds.
Well, it's
like,
12,000 pounds. So in kilograms, that would be
like
what?
half.
Yeah.
So like 400 kilos.
No, it's
So maybe like
600,
6,000 kilograms?
No, 600.
No, it's less.
Here.
You need more pounds for 1 kilogram.
Let's see. Hey Siri, how many kilograms is 12,000 pounds?
5,443.1.
5,500 kilograms.
12,000.
Yes.
Okay. So
Each
5,4
piece of glass is
5.
5,500 kilograms.
Wow.
It's 10 meters tall,
Oh my
3 meters wide, and 5 inches, which would be about 14 centimeters thick.
And that's just the
One.
one segment, or this whole thing?
One.
No,
There's
just one part of this.
one piece of glass. These glasses over here, one pane One.
Wow.
And in each of these crates, there's 3 panes, because that's about 36,000 pounds. So that would be about 15 to 17,000 kilograms. So you can imagine how heavy that is.
Yeah.
And they're putting the entire thing in that glass.
Crazy.
Put it in perspective, I think I did a thing on this before. On the glass over here on the west side, it's the same kind of glass, the tall glass.
This one, yeah.
I think, what was it? 20 panes weighed as much as the KC-135 fully fueled that I flew. Just to give you an idea, and there's a lot more than 20 on this.
Okay.
So because it's so heavy and so big, the perimeter grade beam, the concrete beam here is extraordinarily heavy. It's reinforced. It has little pads on top of it that were cast into the concrete. You can almost see the little dots.
Yeah.
So all of that is to hold up the weight of the glass. And you can see this opening in the perimeter grade beam. This is where we think the tunnels are going to be going in.
Right. Okay.
So anyway, so that's that. And then, oh, by the way, this is the company that is putting the glass in. So they have their shops here. And underneath this tarp is one of the, it's like a balanced, I think I have a better picture here, but it's a balanced beam that has suction cups that pick up the glass and install it.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, there's one right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the crane picks it up. It's got these heavy weights on there and the suction cups, and it picks up the glass, and then it's able to turn, so it can turn them from horizontal to vertical, and then they install each one. And if you look at the people, you get an idea of the size of the glass.
It's huge.
And you can see these are the black frames for the glass. You can see these square parts on the beams. That's the mounting points for the frames for the glass. So it's quite substantial. And then on the roof, you can see the same thing. They have these things that hang down with the attachment points. And then you can see how they're putting this, it's called a parapet wall, to make it look like it's flat. And then there'll be a concrete panel on top of it to finish up the look. So when it's done, it'll look like the whole thing is very square, but the roof itself has pitches in it, and that's for rain management. And they have water pipes to collect all the water.
And it will be only 1 floor here?
No, there's 2 floors already. So you can see the ground, and then you can see the upper floor. But what they do, I'm gonna go back one picture, sorry. You can see over here, there's another floor.
Okay.
So there's that. So what they've done in the rest of the factory, what I think they're gonna do here is in some places they'll have a built-in, almost like a mezzanine that's part of the building. So the way they number Giga Texas, the ground floor is 1F. If they have a mezzanine, it's 1M. And then they have a second floor, it's 2F. And then if they have a mezzanine, it's 2M. And then if they have a third floor, it's 3F. So this would be 1F, 1M, 2F. But what they've done in the rest of the factory is that they've come in later and they've added more mezzanines. So what looks like 2 floors right now may end up being 4 floors. It depends on what they want to do.
Oh, okay. So it's
very configurable based on the construction or the production that they're going to do and what they need for the machines. So anyway, so that's just a good picture just to give you an idea of the scale. It's not small. And this is sort of looking, you can get the idea of how the whole side should be all glass. And this picture is also good for a couple of reasons. One, you can see downtown Austin, so you get an idea of where that is in location to the factory. 2, you can see the outbound lot where we were flying and seeing the Cybertrucks. And you can see part of the end of line over here.
Oh, this is
okay. And those are the superchargers. And just off site, you can see the crane here. That's where the boring tunnel is. You can just see the boring tunnel.
Okay.
And then on the roof here, they have all of the decking installed, and you see all of the materials being placed. The square stuff is the insulation panels, and those will be glued down to the decking. And then some of them, I don't know if they have them all, but they have rolls of material, and that roll will be the weatherproof membrane.
But this is not like the Giga Texas factory, or is it? Yeah. Like the big one?
Extension.
It's the extension.
Ah, so they already have so many glass.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the factory. This is the extension, and eventually it'll look like it's all under one roof. So it'll all be connected. Yeah. But one of the ways that they built Giga Texas is it's kind of like many different buildings under one roof. So that's why when I say the body in white or the stamping section or the paint section or the casting, they're kind of individual buildings, but they're under one roof.
Yeah.
And the same thing for
I saw
here.
your videos from the beginning, so I saw how it was like, you know, built
So they're doing the
separately.
same thing here. And so to go to your original question is, what is this for?
Yeah.
When it was originally going to be, you know, put out, I was told, and this is more than a year ago now, that most of this was going to be administrative, maybe offices, design studios, that kind of stuff.
It will be the headquarters because they will be voting for moving the headquarters to.
It's already moved here several years ago. This is the headquarters.
Oh yeah. They will vote for moving the financial, like.
Yeah, like the register
from the Delaware.
Oh yeah. I don't think that would affect the buildings to say. It's just where they do their I don't know, their court cases and all that stuff.
But basically, people will be working here, so they.
Well, that was the original plan.
Oh, okay.
Since then, a few things have changed. One, they're putting the boring tunnel in. So a while ago, they knew because they were putting the cistern in, so they had that idea, but they also decided to move the next generation vehicle to Giga Texas.
Ah, right.
Oh, yeah.
So
supposed to be Mexico.
We're thinking that possibly some of that is playing a role in here. And one of the things is, just off camera here, I'll have another picture. There's 4 large tanks, and those tanks look like they may be supporting paint shops. So I don't know. It's kind of, it's evolving is what I'm saying. So I can't tell you exactly for sure what is the actual purpose. It looks like the purpose has changed, but it's certainly going to have a lot of glass.
I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah. Okay, so now what we've done is I've flown over the roof and we've come down into this open section.
Oh,
so
it's not done
this
yet,
is probably where the boring tunnels are going to be, in here.
Oh, okay. Here will be the exiting of the boring tunnel.
Well, there'll probably be 2 in here because the distance between the columns is about 45 meters. So it's pretty large. So there should be enough room for 2 of them right there. And they've been putting a slab in here. I'm not exactly sure what this is going to be because it's very thick, but it didn't have rebar. So some people are thinking it has like a fibrous reinforcement in it, but it's very weird. And you can also see the yellow moisture barrier. So some of the concrete's there, some of it's not been poured. And then all of the steel is what they're assembling the inside. So they're now kind of assembling from the inside out. The other thing, I don't know if I have a good...
This is the old building.
This is the old end of the building. And just right where your thumb is where the Cybertrucks originally came out.
Oh, okay.
So you can see how they were going through all the dirt. But now with this construction, they can't get out anymore. That's why they had to cut the other door.
Oh, right.
And then over here, and it's hard to see, I hope I have a picture for it, but about where this concrete thing is right here, just on the inside, you can see a structure. And there's 3 of them. There's one here, there's one in the middle, and one on the other side. And they're kind of like underground tunnels or vaults. They go the width of this new section, and they have an elevator shaft on each one going up through the roof. So I don't know what that's for. It's unlike anything else. And if we go back to this picture, let's see if I can find it real quick. I think here, the perimeter grade beam, you can see it's a little bit different. It's thicker, and then they have cutouts right where the tunnel is. So it's almost like there's going to be 3 sort of openings into this tunnel that ends with an elevator shaft up to the 2nd floor.
Wow. Okay.
So it's very, very weird. So anyway, oh, actually, that is it. That's where the Cybertrucks used to come out, right there.
Oh, yeah.
So now, assuming that they keep the interior the same, you can imagine them coming out and going into the tunnels, right there.
Yeah.
So this will probably be like a Las Vegas tunnel loop over here or something.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's see what else I have. Okay, I'm now farther away. I've come from in here and I've come up here. So you can see how the whole extension is looking, and you can see how it bridges right up against it. You can see those huge tanks.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So when this is all done, it looks like it'll be one large building, but they have these huge tanks in there, and they're building the building around the tanks. And they have one space open for the cranes to get in and out right now. You can get a good sense of the glass And it's going to do the same thing over here, have that, you know, that glass come up here and then around. Let's see, what else can I see? Over here is kind of a little bit of mystery structure. These are really big footings and really tall columns. I think the columns are 6 meters tall.
Oh, you can see the
Yeah.
person here, so it may be more. Maybe
They're really
9.
weird. They're really, really tall. And today you can see they're putting something here, and they're putting, I have a better picture, red scaffolding up here. So and they have a lot of rebar. So it's going to have a ground slab, and it's going to be something tall. And it's also right under the power lines. You see that?
Oh, right.
So I don't know what it is. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
And then they're also building inside here. You can see interior walls almost like, here's what's interesting. See how the columns are there? It's almost
Reinforced.
It's not quite 2 meters. It's just under 2 meters tall, the base.
Mm-hmm.
And these are maybe the
On
same
top
height
of
or a little bit more, but it means that it looks like there's a floor with an underground level. And then those tunnels I told you about are the same height as the walls. So it's almost like they're building a subterranean floor, and then a first floor, and then a second floor.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there's a lot going on there. It's kind of wild. Here's a different shot, and you can see where we were.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. There's the boring tunnel,
Yeah.
and you see where it lines up?
Yeah. So it's like exactly match.
Yeah.
And here you can as well see the drain, the water drain.
Cyber pond.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow! Yeah, it's true.
What else can I see in here? You can see the tanks again and how they just built the building. And eventually all this will be filled in. This thing that pops out of the original building, that was the extension to stamping. And they did that because they needed more room for the stamping presses that are used to make the parts of the Cybertruck.
Oh, okay.
And they have a recycling plant in here too. So they had to extend the building, and this extension allowed them with this door here, one of the temporary places for the Cybertrucks where they would come out there and they would drive through here when this was, you know, not as much built. So this was one way, and then later on they were driving through the mud underneath here and coming out over here, and now they obviously can't use that anymore. So that's why they had to make that big change. And just to give you a more, this is that triangular spot we were looking at, that lot. That's where they're doing the dirt. This is that material staging. That's the outbound lot, downtown Austin, and then the end of line right over there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go over here. This is on the roof, just off the picture here. And this is where I told you earlier they had the ducts that they were moving over here. They're stored on the west side. They're just now today bringing them over here. They'll be installed onto this. And underneath here is a new, it has a bunch of Evapco chiller units, a lot of manifolds, pipes, and it's part of another cooling system for the factory.
This is solar roof.
Yeah.
Solar,
Yeah, the pitch is to the west, so we're looking underneath it, and you can actually see the mounts. They're unirack mounts with bricks. And that's what holds it on there. Also, just up to the north, you can see that's what this is going to look like, but much bigger.
Yeah. Okay.
See the ducts there?
Mm.
And then if I go down here, you see the new ones.
Yeah.
So that's that. Okay, here's the multi-level parking garage.
Oh my gosh, this is like as well.
7 floors, 1.745 million square feet. And you can see stairs inside. They have elevators, and then somewhere in here is most likely going to be boring tunnels to get them across. I've had a lot of viewers ask, well, why didn't they build something like a walkway between here and the building? Wouldn't that make sense? Well, you can't because of all the power lines, and there's an easement here for Austin Energy. So
And
their
as
way
well,
of,
it will be
they
like
can't build there.
300 meters.
so they're going to go underneath.
Something like that.
So they'll go
So
underneath.
just from the parking garage to the factory.
Yes.
Hmm.
But that'll be later on.
How many people work at Giga Texas now?
We just had a little bit of a layoff, which you're probably aware of. So I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I believe,
You count the car.
yeah, I believe that at the time before that, it was something like direct Tesla employees was something like 12 or 13,000. And then you had all the contractors and supporters. So the total number is very large. And it's expected, even with these layoffs over time, it's expected to get a lot more. Yeah. And that's why the parking lot garage is so important, because you can see how much real estate they're using just for this. And that's not
replace that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Additional?
I think it's additional, but we'll have to see. Because, you know, with Giga Texas, they have no problem building something and then ripping it up.
Yeah. It's true everywhere with Musk's companies.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can see some of this here. They're pouring in the ground floors, and they are also pouring like this on every floor. When it's not finished, it looks like that, because these are called double T panels. So they're put in place, and then they put these rebar mesh, and then they put concrete on top of it. And then when it's done, it looks more like this. So this is like halfway done, so you can see.
Yeah.
In fact, this section here was just poured.
Oh, right.
So, and then this is that east lot. This used to be where all the Model Ys and Cybertrucks came. They did their testing, calibration, and then they went to the outbound lot, which used to be here. Now that they built that whole new facility, the outbound lot's over there, so this is parking, and this is being used temporarily for storage, I guess. There is a supercharger station here as well, but all of the activity for getting the cars ready to transport is now on the west side.
Constantly shifting things around.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna look this way now. So we're at the same spot, but I'm now looking west. This is the south end. This is River Road, and currently it bends and it goes north along the building, but it's going to have this new intersection come over this way, so it extends that road. Eventually this road will go all the way over to the cathode plant, but right now it's just gonna go to this part. And then this is a new intersection, and where your thumb is going this way is Robotic Avenue, and that will have the intersection for that. So you can get a way of getting to the parking garage from the south or from the north. And that's what it looks like right now. There used to be a pond here. That pond is now gone, and they've been widening the dirt and flattening it out and preparing it. They also did a lot of reinforcement of the dirt as well. But all of these ponds are remaining of the sand and gravel mine. So they're not natural. Okay, so that's where we were. And you can see the paving here, that's Robotic Avenue that's being extended to the south. And then it will connect over by the parking parking spots. These are all the contractors that are responsible for building all this stuff. And it's actually Yates is the company.
Okay.
And so this is...
Oh, this is superchargers.
Yep.
With... Yeah, still V3s, but with... Okay.
Ah, this fly is crazy. This is another shot of that roof with the... As you can see, there's another one. They were delivering them at that time. And you can kind of see what's going on inside. It's kind of hard. They have walkways and stuff, but these are Evapco units. And then elsewhere, they have manifolds and pipes and stuff like that. This is a close-in of that mystery structure on the south, and you can see all the scaffolding that's being put in. There's also, if you can see on the columns, there's these little mounts.
Oh, right.
These mounts look like they're going to mount something to it. I don't know if it'll be for a bridge crane. It's possible, or if it's going to be something else that's mounted to them. But they clearly have something in mind that will be lower than the top of the columns. So you can imagine almost a roof with something underneath. And the closest I've seen for something like this is where they use concrete columns and casting and stamping for bridge cranes. But they had part of it built into the column. Now, there's an interesting thing, I'm probably boring you, but on the casting machine section where they had all the concrete columns where they had the bridge cranes, later on they figured out that there was something wrong with the column. So they had to go in and they had to put like reinforcing bands along the top of the concrete columns to reinforce it. So they may have decided that that design was inherently bad, so they got rid of it and they went with a different one. So that's my guess, but that's the closest that I can come right now. But yeah, you can see a Cybertruck driving around.
This is like a fence or multi? Oh, this is fence.
It's just a concrete barrier.
I thought that if it's multi-level.
All right, just back here again, different view. This is looking down at that whole section again. It looks like they're working on a crane Oh no, I guess that the crane's up, but they were picking up some of the steel, I think, in that shot. Right.
Oh.
Somewhere here. This is
it's-
back to the
yeah.
boring tunnel.
Okay, that view is.
There's a good shot inside. Now you can see how that the liner truck actually works.
Okay, nice.
And you can see the gaskets I told you about, and then the holes are for the bolts. And on the display right outside here, you'll be able to see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And it gives you a good idea of the size too.
Yeah. For sure.
And this is, we saw that over here. This is earlier where they were picking that up.
Yeah.
Just
But at the end, it will be ground will be a floor or rolled, you know.
Maybe they will like.
But they put something below this curved part.
No.
No.
No,
Nothing?
I don't. Oh, you mean like
This.
they flatten it to some degree.
Oh, to make a
Like,
road.
Yeah, to make a road. So.
Oh,
I saw
inside the tunnel, yes.
I think I saw in a boring prospect. I saw that there is possible to put cables
Right.
or
Oh, yeah,
telecommunication.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if this is the tunnel, they'll have a flat place, and then
Yeah.
below it, I actually got a chance on the tunnel right over here to go see that, and it's not, you can't stand in it. It's not tall enough to stand. It's maybe, I don't know, 3 feet, so
Like
maybe not quite a meter tall.
The
underneath.
bottom part.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
So it has room for stuff, but you can't. They have access
you have to
points.
crawl
You have to
or-
crawl.
Right.
Yeah.
Or send a robot
Yeah.
in.
This beam, by the way, this is part of the beam that used to be here for the conveyor, and it's no longer needed because, or at least it's not needed right now because they're putting all of the gantries in and installing them.
Okay.
So you imagine underneath the ground, you have a whole bunch of these in different shapes, like a train, and the locomotive is the Proof Rock 3. So you have all of these things attached, so it's like an underground train.
Right. So
Hey, there's my
they
car.
only have one tunnel here at the
There's 2 here.
2, yeah.
And this is on the 4680. They're putting in some more, it looked like ducting to me, maybe.
Oh,
A ventilation duct. And this is on the 3rd floor. In this area, you have a 4th floor, a 3rd floor, 2nd, and 1st floor. And then they've come back in and they've added mezzanines as well.
And are they add another solar panel on the roof, or they are not?
Well, right now, eventually the roof is going to be completely covered. They only have it says Tesla right now. That's about 30,000 panels. Eventually, it's going to have over 70,000 when it's done.
But during the year, they still add something, or now it is frozen, and maybe at the end they will finish this.
Are you asking if what's on it right now, is it operational? Are they using it or?
Or each day they add new.
No.
solar
If
panel?
they're still adding
Yeah.
right now.
What you see right now is called phase 1. Phase 1 is completed, more or less. Phase 2 will start, but what's happening is, I showed you where they're putting that big opening and they're putting well, they're still doing a lot of rework on the roof.
Yeah,
so it doesn't
yeah,
make
yeah.
sense to put
Yeah,
panels
yeah.
on right now.
So this is some.
Yeah. So this is the casting machine structure.
So
all
in
of
the
this,
front.
yeah, all of this used to be windows. In fact, if you remember some of my older videos where I flew along, you could see inside. Well, they took all the windows out, not because of me. Everybody says that, they didn't want Joe to
That
see
would be
it.
nice.
What actually happened is, and I don't know if I have another shot on this, but inside here they have all the casting machines. The casting machines, they inject the aluminum and put a mold and they make the parts. Well, to keep the parts from sticking, they have a oil spray that goes into it. Well, the oil spray was getting into the atmosphere and it was causing problems for people. It was more mist and stuff than they expected. So they had to put a new ventilation system in. So on the roof here, if you remember seeing my videos, they have these large ventilation systems now with these huge ducted fans and all these big vents and filters. And they put all of that in, and then they took all the windows out and they put these grates in instead, and that's all to make sure that the oil mist, everything is taken out. And in addition to
So
that,
the air can come in?
yes. In addition to that, they also installed right inside here, part of the reason why these doors are being prepared to be removed, and they're doing all this work, is they put in a furnace, kiln kind of thing. And to do that, the reason why they did that is that they're taking the scrap aluminum and they're remelting it right there and then using it again for more castings. But that also has a lot of heat to it too. So this helps with the heat and also with the atmosphere. So that's why those are there. And all of this here, you can see a little bit up here, I have a better picture, but all of this is being ripped out now. And up here, I think in this, yeah, you can see all these dots and you can see over here, these are called screw type piers. So they made the little dots, they put the piers in, they screwed them in, so it makes it like, you can just maybe see the tops. And these provide support. And they're getting ready with all of the rebar to make a really heavily reinforced slab here. And they're gonna continue that here. So they're reworking this entire side.
So maybe they will expand even on this side?
It's possible, either they're gonna expand the building out, or at least part of it, or you might notice they have a lot of castings that always are out here.
Yeah.
So it may be a casting
Storage
or processing facility. I'm not sure, but the screw type piers are pretty strong. It does reinforce the ground a lot, but it's not enough
for
to our casting machine.
Yeah, because it's very heavy and big.
But still for something heavy.
Okay.
Fairly heavy.
So obviously they're expanding something and it's going to be something new, but it's pretty cool to see how this is going. But this is why I keep saying, you know, here at Giga Texas, they don't have any problems with putting concrete down and then reworking. They're doing the entire side here.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And here's a casting for a Cybertruck, and that's a front casting.
Oh, wow.
And these parts here, these are, they call it the biscuit. It's kind of excess that would be trimmed off.
Ah, yeah, true.
Yeah, it's just part of the
And then melt
casting
it down
process.
and use it again.
Yeah, and then that would go into the furnace, which is just, I don't even have, it's just off into the right there where they would do
into
that.
the dark.
No waste.
Yeah. So that you can see that, all the castings, and almost all of these are Cybertrucks, I think, or maybe these are Model Ys and those are Cybertrucks, or vice versa.
And these are good parts.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and then they have little forklifts that will pick them up, and then they move them to where they need them.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
Or
it's, again.
there's the multi-level garage. This is that east lot with a lot of the Cybertrucks.
where they put these parts which are not good? They have some special
Scrapyard. Some.
Well,
it is not visible.
they either send some to scrap, or now with their furnace, they just melt it back down.
Oh, really?
So you,
This is from the far east, looking back to the factory, and you can see Austin again.
Yeah.
And that's that lot that we saw where all the Cybertrucks are. And this is the secondary entrance on the east side of the building. And yeah, so.
Wow. Oh, wow. You were very generous.
Yeah, I get going, but just a couple more things. This is the die shop, and this is the cathode building. This is the new building, and this is where they do the design, testing, modification of dies.
Oh, yeah.
And they can also do maintenance in here as well. And on the other side, on the north end, they have an external furnace that melts
It's
down
concrete,
stuff.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
concrete with glass. Very similar. I think eventually it's going to be stained white to match the factory.
Yeah.
And this is a new receiving door or ramp that they just finished. And then the entrance is right over here, and they're still working on that as well. This is the cathode plant, and they just now removed that temporary scaffolding, which means that we're probably going to see this finished up. So they're not loading materials anymore.
This is the testing.
Right, this is the Wade pit. There's the crash test facility. This is the battery cathode plant, and they just put more asphalt in.
Did you saw some testing of Cybertrucks here in the water?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They've only did it once. It might have been like September-ish, October. It was a while ago. Since then, this is just rainwater. I haven't seen them using it.
Okay.
At least not for a while.
How deep it is this water?
I believe if they were to fill it all the way up to the top of the ramp, it'd be like 1.5 meters to maybe 2 meters. So it's enough to float if you wanted to do that.
That's why Elon keeps saying that it
Yeah,
can float.
that's where they're going to
because
find
they
out.
tested it.
This is just another shot. You know, we were over here, now we're
Yeah,
coming
and
over
the
that
first one is the lithium, and the second is cathode, or
way. No. This is the cathode plant.
Okay.
This is the die shop. So the
die
die shop
shop.
does the dies, the things that make the castings, and they do the design, modification,
like the
and
forms
testing.
or the molds.
Yes, and then they also do all the maintenance here. So as the dies wear, they can bring them over here and do work on them. And whereas this is where the interesting thing is you know the battery, the lithium plant down at Corpus Christi. So
We were there.
We were there.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, I've done a bunch of drones on that, and I've talked about it. I did a 6-part series, and I went like unbelievable detail on it. But basically, they take the raw material called spodumene concentrate 6. They go through some processes, and lithium hydroxide comes out of that. Then the lithium hydroxide is the input here, and then there they'll make the cathode parts of the battery. So it's kind of like not quite mining, but much more mining than.
When you expect this will be function?
I think it's already functioning now, but I don't know if it's at full speed. But
Yeah, this is the Tesla thing that they start to function it
Right.
even when it's
Exactly.
building.
Exactly.
But it's still building.
And
Exactly.
the Corpus Christi refinery is working as well.
not yet.
Oh,
It's
okay.
still under construction. My last video on it was like this, maybe 10th or 11th of March. And when I go back to Starbase, I'll do another one.
Okay.
So anyway, this is more concrete being removed and reconfiguring. This is next to the battery cell production part of the factory. So it's on the west side. Batteries that are, these are the cans, just the cans of the 4680s being recycled.
Okay.
These are-
Yeah. You cannot put there anything with energy because that will be dangerous.
Right. So it's just the metal.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen this a lot in the last couple of weeks, so I don't know if that means that they are switching to a different version
Really
or
changing something.
what. This is where the Model Ys come out of the factory for the first time, and then they queue up here, and then the drivers get them and drive them over to the west side. So you can see a lot were being produced at that
So
time.
it's someone's job to just keep going
Yes.
back
Yes.
then all day.
This is
Exactly.
my entrance.
That is the west entrance. Yes.
FSD and they're losing these jobs in 2 weeks.
All right, last couple pictures. This is up at the new electrical switch yard.
Interesting.
There, okay. I don't know why it's doing that. But this is the new electrical switch yard. This is where the old temporary one used to be. It's been completely removed.
Oh
And now they're putting in.
no!
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
they have it built, then they scrap it.
but
and
it was
move
always meant to be
Yeah, it was
temporary.
built to be temporary.
Okay.
But where my drone is right now, I couldn't be here before because they had A-frames in the way. So that's all gone. So I can get in close, and they're putting all the conduit in, and it's connecting into this control tower, our control box. This is the north part of the megapacks over here.
Yeah. By the way, this is so pity that they didn't had that in Germany
Yeah.
because of the arsenal attack.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It could have at the very least, allowed them to shut everything down
Correctly.
in a good way.
Yeah.
But the conduit is right over here, just off the picture.
Yeah.
And of course, looking back.
So these are the megapacks.
Right. And they do
So they
two.
serve as backup power.
Yeah, they do. They do two things. Their primary is to provide backup power to Giga Texas. The secondary is to help stabilize the grid around the
yeah.
area. And also, the solar panels on the roof are not connected to the megapacks. What the solar panels do, no, there's no plans to do that.
Oh, really?
What the solar panels do is they provide
Excess
relief
power?
of energy. So as they are making power, it's powering as much of the factory as they can. Otherwise, they just use grid power, and then the batteries will back them up in case the grid goes down.
Ah, okay. So then the solar panels are basically an island. An island.
Yes, yeah, they're not connected, and I thought they were going to be, but I actually talked to the people that are actually in charge of it, and they said no.
Oh. I guess it's because they will need much more battery packs than this maybe.
Probably because you can imagine Giga Texas uses more.
70,000.
And I think that's it.
Okay.
So that's just from
okay.
today.
Thank you, Joe,
Oh, no problem.
for your very much appreciated time. Thank you very much. We enjoyed it much, and yeah, there will be plenty of material to process. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I hope I didn't talk too much and I just gave you...
No, it was like, I was just nervous that you said that you need to end in 1 o'clock.
Yeah, well, that's my problem. I get going, but I do need to head back. But no, I mean, I guess what I hope comes across this is that there is a lot that is going on. And just looking at a video or a still picture, it's really impossible to know all of the things that are going on. And, you know, part of the reason why I'm doing this is I would like to give visibility of all of the work that goes on behind the scenes, what all the employees, all the contractors, the support that is making Giga Texas happen. It's a huge project, and I hope this helps people get a better understanding of what goes into that.
Yeah. And the whole Tesla community is very grateful to your work.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I very much encourage you, if you do not yet, support Joe on Patreon on his side, on his page, because he's doing a very good job. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
See you.